The way my business mentality works is you automate, you delegate, or you eliminate. I want to create something that is strong, impactful, that provides a good service, it's scalable. In your bubble, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can do stand-up comedy, you can start a business, because it's your thing. I have a bit of a bucket list mindset with a lot of things. I don't get embarrassed easily, and I just love putting myself out there and going for it. The more I've just let go and realized that we're all going to die one day. It's not such a big deal. What you're doing today that you're sort of embarrassed about, or you think that you're not good enough, if you can realize water off a duck's back, you create this really strong self-worth within, then everything's going to be okay.
Hello and welcome to Naked at the Top. Today's guest is someone who refuses to stay in her box. Mia Bauer is the CEO of Automate Social. She's a keynote speaker and was named Young Entrepreneur of the Year. She's worked with Fortune 500 brands, built a scalable AI system that automates ads, and still finds time for yoga, cold plunges, and comedy sets. I saw Mia do stand up last week, which sums her up in the short time I've known her. She really pushes herself out of her comfort zone, even when she's petrified, and she does it with a smile on her face. She's a true testament to the leader that she is, and I can't wait to unpack more of it in today's episode. So, for everyone listening, AI is here to stay. It's already shifting how we run our businesses, but most of us are still scratching the surface. I know I am. But Mia's built her entire business on AI. So if you've been curious about how to bring AI into your world to free you up, this episode's going to be from you. So Mia, welcome to Naked at the Top.
No, this is one of the best intros ever. Yeah, and I have a tendency to just embarrass myself in as many ways possible. So yeah, I think it's so much about leadership and entrepreneurship is going for it. And you just have to push through the cringe and just accelerate forward.
And you did so well. I mean, as we're talking about it now, like how did you feel, doing that? Do you want to give us everyone a little insight to what you did last week, and how did you feel after you did it? Because it was pretty daring. Not many people would jump up on stage and do stand up.
Yeah, so I have a bit of a bucket list mindset with a lot of things. I don't get embarrassed easily, and I just love putting myself out there and going for it. So there was a bunch of things I was doing this year where, yeah, I wasn't particularly skilled at it. I wasn't a professional, but I thought, oh, I'll give it a crack. And it ends up turning out to be such an amazing experience because you learn so much about yourself every time. So it sort of started off where Alex and I met at Speakers Boot Camp, and we were learning how to give our keynote speeches, and then sort of morphed into I started writing poetry, and then I started getting up and performing poetry, and then yeah, last week was a bit of a crescendo moment where I thought I'll try and stand up, and it was a whole week of learning how to create a set, create your own jokes, learn joke structure, learn how to integrate annoying or funny moments from your everyday life into a joke. And then we had to perform on the Thursday night. And yeah, there was a little part of me that was like, okay, this is a lot. Going up and doing stand up is probably one of the most embarrassing things you can do. And there's that fear that you will bomb and you'll be really bad. But it ended up being fine. And I think people want to have a good time. They want to laugh. They want to enjoy what you're doing. So if you can just yeah, work hard in a sense, which sounds counterintuitive with comedy, but you have to actually put in the work to create coherent structures. So you work hard at it. Yeah, you put yourself out there, and it just was so cool. It was kind of remarkable that people even laughed at it. I was like, oh, it's probably going to be completely silent. And yeah, so I'm really proud that I could just do something like that. And I'm having a little group of friends now from the comedy uh, course. So we're going to go and do open mics, and yeah, it'll be fun.
That's awesome. And so this is a podcast about leadership, but what would you say that you learned from that you could kind of take into, how you run your business?
Yeah, so business and play is something that I appreciate so much. Everyone can get quite serious in business, and they're like, you have to be professional and you have to be someone who is, only one flavor. But I really think the more I've just let go and realized that we're all going to die one day, it's not such a big deal. What you're doing today that you're sort of embarrassed about, or you think that you're not good enough, nobody is really even thinking about you. So it's really important just to be yourself and yeah, try out new things and mix enjoyment. And I know that, yeah, you and I both share this view that getting up on stage and connecting with people and sort of changing the energy of a room in a positive way is one of the most thrilling things that you can do. So the keynote world and yeah, be able to really step out of the computer, the digital, and into these rooms where people want to learn, they want to connect, they're human, they're excited, they're at an event, they've spent their time to be there. So yeah, just serving them as a community. And so you can do that through humor, you can do it through education, you can do it through so many different things. So yeah, I'd say play and work. You got to make it fun, otherwise you lose steam really quick. So the only reason I've been able to do business for 4 years is because there's been a lot of fun within within that journey as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you're right. It's all about connection, being able to connect with your team, connect with your customers, and that all stems from, how we show up and how we can have a conversation. And I think the more you can bring your personality and just have fun with it, the more enjoyable it is. So I think you touched there on it. So you've been building Automate Social for 4 years, is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a really, really cool journey because I was never someone who was the typical archetype of a business person. I don't think there really is one, but I my main goal of having a business was so I could travel the world and have my little business in a backpack and have all these epic adventures and have some way to generate income without needing to get a full-time job or do the traditional ways of ways of work. And through that process, I ended up not caring as much about travel as I did about business, because business is its own travel journey in itself. There's all these people that you meet along the way that become your tribe. I hate that word, but they become your crew. And then you have all these adventures, even just in Melbourne, like stuff that you and I have done since meeting each other that help us in our businesses, like breathwork, or
Mm.
yeah, going to comedy or going to these networking events, or yeah, you ran this really fun event where everyone was dancing and we are all talking about business and then we're all dancing together. There's yeah, it has been going on for a long time now. And sometimes I think, oh, I should have this, different type of business, or I should be in this more other way. But I don't think it could have been any other way. It's had
Mm.
to be mobile, remote. It had to be this mixing of the two worlds and like the fun and the business as well.
Yeah. And has it always been built on the back of AI, or has that kind of evolved over time?
Yeah, well, it's always been tech focused. So I started off my career working for this PR agency called Ogilvy, and they're an amazing organization. They do the PR for lots of different businesses like Microsoft, and they were doing Netflix at the time. And I started off working with those guys, and they were at the forefront of every sort of marketing and tech trend in a way. So they were sort of like pushing the boundaries with social and with PR and all these different things. And so just having exposure to such smart people as my first job, I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is what you do in marketing. So I kind of took that experience. It was quite brief. I mean, yeah, my life moves very quickly. So I was briefly in corporate, and then I took sort of that experience and tried to implement it with these organizations in developing countries or villages, or like completely under resourced areas. And it was such a cool mix of the two because I wasn't coming at it from like, I'm gonna like save you or I'm gonna help these communities. It was never like that. It was sort of like, how do we make this program seem so exciting and fun and interesting and marketed in
Mhm.
a way that connects with what's trending in the world. So yeah, I always forget what the question was, but yeah.
So was it always built on AI? But
It was always built with um, latest social media and
yeah,
marketing tech
yeah.
and using all of the different platforms. And as new trends would come out, and then 2 years ago, I was really went all in with AI and
Mhm.
just completely started to automate the business. And the way my business mentality works is you automate, you delegate, or you eliminate. So
Mm.
you automate as much as you can, and that's often the administration tasks, or it's really simple stuff like note taking or adding things to your Notion board or um yeah, writing like proposals. So there's all this stuff that you do automate. And then you still need a team. If you're doing proper marketing, you still need a really good solid team. Because people know what it's like when you ask ChatGPT to do something. It will come up with like the basics, the good administration, but the real creativity and strategy of social media needs to be done by a small nucleus of people.
Mhm.
And then from there, you eliminate as much as you can. So you look at the tasks that are not revenue driving or not serving your business, and you learn how to cut those out, which is very hard to do when you're first in business and you think everything's important and everything's urgent, but
Yeah.
so much is not.
I love that. And I love that you did say, being a marketer and a creative myself, I love that you did say, you still need a team to do that piece. You still need the humans, but using AI for where it can help you, and then building the team. So how many have you got in your team now, and how have you found that process?
So right now there's 5 of us and they are, all really good at their own specific skill set. So before, I used to have more generalist and people doing lots of different roles. But since sort of implementing more of a systems mindset when it comes to business, each person has their own specific role and their own area of expertise. And that actually helps with that mindset of automate, delegate, and eliminate because if someone has something that they're sort of repeatedly creating, and I always say like deliver the post on time. So
Mhm.
you have the right product, you deliver it on time, and then it can kind of be sent off. Whereas I found when you're having more of a generalist team, it's really great when you're growing a business or you're developing ideas. But if you have one service that you're repeatedly creating, you just need
Mhm.
to put the right people in the right roles for that, and then it's scalable. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So if you had to say, one thing that you do differently as a leader now to 1 year ago, because you clearly move quite fast, what would you say that's changed? What's changed for you in the last year?
Yeah, this has been a tough one for me because I am a people pleaser or maybe like recovering people pleaser.
Mhm.
And so I would always try to not give people feedback, or I would just say near enough is good enough or they're trying their best. And
Mhm.
I would accept um a bit of a lower standard of work because I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. And that's not a good way to operate because yeah, your people are trusting you with their businesses and they're trusting you to do the best job you can. So if you're trying to help people or make people feel good or, try to mitigate people's emotions, it's actually not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to produce a
Mhm.
high as you can standard of work while being polite and kind as well. But yeah, so I had to make a bit of an adjustment to my management in that area, and even now, sometimes I'll be giving feedback or I'll be sending it back for another edit round, sending it back. And yeah, I sometimes feel bad about it. And I don't want to like do that. But I think at the end of the day, it makes them better. It makes the clients happier. But it's always been a huge challenge for me. And a part of that was knowing what the end goal is, knowing what's important, and overall that's producing a really good service and making sure you're like decent to people while doing that. And then the rest of the stuff, it's sort of really up to people to manage their manage their emotions and regulate themselves. It's really not up to the leader to manage that. You just have to try to be kind and firm, and yeah.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that as a fellow people pleaser myself. And I was speaking to somebody about it, and because I like kind of blunt to the point feedback, but often when I had a team around me, I'd be, I'd walk around in circles because I didn't want to upset anyone. And the person I was speaking to said it's actually more kind to be direct and give them the feedback because then they can grow as well. And yeah, like you say, we can't, it's not our job to take on everyone's emotions, but it can be difficult, because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. But I like that you look at it from the perspective of the client, the person that's kind of paying for the service. And if you keep them in mind, then I imagine it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and if I didn't care, I wouldn't give them feedback. So
Mhm.
if I didn't care about them, if I just thought, oh, this is not worthwhile, I wouldn't try. I think it's the most helpful thing you can do is try to help improve them. And I respect all of their skill sets. I respect everybody's different. And I do also try to say, highlight the good as well. So when something's good, I won't brush over it. I'll say, this is really good. This is a good
Mm.
example. But yeah, I know what it's like. It stings when you get feedback. You just want to do a good job. You want to keep people happy. And I think most, like most people I've worked with, they have a tendency to like really want to like do a good job, and they're proud of their work, and they are doing what they can. They don't like, they're not lazy. They're not like trying to mess anything up. It's just hard. Like really good marketing and really good ads is a very difficult thing to master. It's such a competitive landscape. Everybody's vying for all this attention. So even something as subtle as like not writing copy in the right way, or using something that's like off brand or off tone,
Mhm.
all these things matter so much. So yeah, it's like the feedback stings in the moment, but then you see the impact of having a higher standard of work later on, and it's so cool to see that, and it's also really exciting to see people's growth as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they can be proud of that work and happy and celebrate with the client when the client's happy too. And I'm sure like for everyone listening, this is probably a really common issue that leaders find. So was there anything in particular that you flicked you in your mind or how you kind of were able to go from that, oh, I don't want to upset them to, okay, no, we've just got to deliver. Was there any kind of tip that you could share if other people are struggling with this?
I think it was came from raising my own standards. So
Mm.
um, I had a lifestyle business for like I say lifestyle business. I was also like extremely like serious about making a business, but I did have a lifestyle business mentality. I kind of was for a long period of time. I was thinking, okay, I want to have this business that helps me travel. I want to have this business that gives me freedom. I want to have this business that helps me like live this fun life. And then I think it clicked that I one day realized I want this business because I want a good business. Like I want to create something that is strong, impactful, that provides a good service, it's scalable. And yeah, I started to raise my own standards and my own focus. And I rewrote the business plan, obviously in ChatGPT, and AI'd it, and put that into a bit of a more of a system, and
Mm.
realize that, okay, for me to match up to the standards that I have in this business plan and the standard that I have for the work, I also need to make sure I'm like going through things with a fine tooth comb, making sure
Mhm.
things are looking good, making sure that we're fulfilling to the best extent we can, delivering on projects. And then, yeah, so after that, it was sort of like very clear that my like chilled mentality was coming to an end, and I'm still pretty relaxed, but it's just like if the quality is there, I don't complain. Like I'm
Yeah.
completely fine. I won't try to like nitpick things, but
Yeah.
until it's like there across the board, then yeah, I've become a lot pickier than,
Mhm.
I mean, you do that as you get older, right? You become more picky. You
Yeah,
start,
yeah, because you know what you're looking for and you know what's right. And I
mm,
think, yeah, I think that's a great tip for anyone listening. Like when you raise your own standards, then the rest will follow.
because you can't tell people to do something while you're not doing it. So I think also
Mm,
as a founder, you can absolutely run the business in the way you want to run it, but um, if I'm saying I want the clients to do well, and then I'm not actually looking through the yards, or I'm not like saying like, hey, we need to update this, we need to make sure this with it, then it so you need to kind of, once you're clear about your expectations, then everybody else can kind of follow suit. But it's sort of similar, like if there's a business and everyone's like drinking in the office and like having fun, and just it like that's also a fun style of business too.
mhm.
But yeah, you just need to kind of choose yeah, what, what standard, and set it, and keep those expectations strong.
Yeah, exactly. Because it comes from the top down, doesn't it? All right, great. I've got some quick fire questions that I want to ask you. So I'm going to ask you them, and you can either answer, or you can throw it back to me to answer. And these are more AI specific for you, Mia. So have you got ChatGPT open?
Yeah, I do.
I'd love to know, what was the last thing you asked GPT?
Yeah, I bought my first property last year, and you have to move into it as a first homeowner buyer. But like I'm living in Brighton and I love it and I don't want to move. So I was like, how long do I need to stay in this property for? Like, as in, is it okay if I visit it once a week or something to live in the property? So yeah, that's what I did. I was like, and it was said, yeah, basically said, yes, you need to live there. You need to sleep most nights there and track this in your account. Anyway, so it's telling me that I need to go and live in Brunswick now. So yeah.
Awesome, love it. What are the top three AI tools you used last week, and how did they help you?
Okay, so I have my meat and potatoes AI tools that I use constantly, and I think people can overcomplicate their tech stack and
Mm,
they don't really realize what they actually need. So the tools that I use, like my meat and potatoes tools, are like Fireflies that records notes. I use Notion, which has all my knowledge management stuff, and Notion has an AI tool where you can add things into your systems. Of course, I use ChatGPT, and I love Opus Clip, which takes a long video and turns it into short little clips.
yeah.
And then I love Gamma, which takes you can say, create me a proposal for this, and it will spit out like a really like high quality proposal with all the images and photos and videos really quickly. So they're the five that I just like I love them. And then there's all these like funky cool ones. I learned
Mm,
how to clone my clients and myself in HeyGen the other day. So you can pretty much upload a single video of yourself, and then it turns into this AI clone that you can create infinite amounts of content with. So say you can
amazing.
say to ChatGPT, generate 50 scripts in the AI space, talking about social media and AI, and then your clone can go and do that. And then you can get like really funky and start to glue those things together with automations. So the AI tools are really cool, but sometimes it can feel a bit disjointed. The next thing that people will see a lot more of is you start to glue them with an automation. So
Mm,
if someone feels like, oh, they're logging into this platform and then they're doing this repetitive thing, then they're doing this repetitive thing. You automate one part of that. So we'll use Fireflies and Notion for an example. This is a really simple automation. You use a program called make.com and it adds Lego blocks or little sticky things to your tools. So, for instance, Fireflies records the stuff, and then you say to the automation, I want the notes to go straight into Notion under this client's account. So then it saves it there every time. So you think of that, people call that an agent. No, not really, but people could call that an agent or like a helper or something. But it's just changing, like it's just connecting that one repetitive task. And then you think of, okay, like after the call, I also need to make sure with certain calls, I need to make sure that that gets sent as like a proposal or as something else. So you can glue make onto ChatGPT onto Gamma, and then ChatGPT can write it with a custom GPT, and then Gamma can turn it into a nice presentation, and then you can even like send that off. Like you can add another sticky automation on with make, and that can send that off to the client like within minutes of the call itself. So I think right now a lot of people are starting to master the tools quite well, and they're starting to like refine what their tool stack is and what they enjoy using and what's helpful for their businesses. And then probably in the next year or so, that adoption will move towards automations as well. So people are still quite green with automations. They're like, what, like it looks cool, but it's still, people are still just using tool by tool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely predict in like this year, if not next year, people are going to start to adopt more of the sticking blocks,
Yeah.
creating teams of agents, etc.
Amazing. I mean, if anyone listening is like me, which I'm sure there will be, I mean, I dabble and I use all these, like what you said, I use all these different tools. But when I'm using them, sometimes I'm like, well, one, I'm like, I'm probably spending more time than I need to because I'm trying to figure it out. But two, yeah, I'm at that stage where I'm like, okay, well, wait, well, how do I do the automation part to like put it all together seamlessly? So, hearing about that make.com, I was looking for my notes to tip, but I can listen back to the recording. But that's so helpful. But like even for me listening to you, I'm like, oh, it sounds complicated. Is it complicated to like do all this?
Oh, yeah. Well, people don't realize how simple they need to create it. So it becomes complicated when you're on LinkedIn and everyone's like, this is how I automated my whole business and this is how, and you think that you need to do that. But you actually just need a few really simple tools that you use regularly. I don't know, it's like people are going a bit tool crazy at the moment, which I definitely have my like time where I'm like, oh, I'm using this and this and that. A lot of it you don't need. You need, minimum 5, maximum maybe 10. You need tools that automate your regular processes. Write me a list of the repetitive tasks that I need to automate in order of how I usually do these tasks. So ChatGPT will come up with a bit of a timeline. So for me, I was still like really simple stuff. And sometimes if you, all right, can we go deep into this topic?
Yeah, please. Let's
Okay.
do
All
it.
right. So I'll start from the start. So pretty much everybody has a way that they record their to-do list. So some people do it by paper, some people do it online. So what you do is you collect as many to-do lists as you can. So you have, you just dump a bunch into ChatGPT. You can take photos of your to-do lists and upload the photo. And then you say this very simple prompt to ChatGPT saying, looking at all of my tasks, I was still recording the notes on like my laptop, and then I was putting the notes into a presentation and writing the presentation in Canva to like tell people like how we could help them. And then I was either sending or presenting that. And then so there was all these things where I was like doing these things on a regular basis. And I just started step by step to automate those things. And it's so much like it's a lot quicker than you think if you simplify it in that way. So
Mhm.
you just like do one thing at a time. You're like, okay, like today I'm just gonna like I'm aware of the time that I'm wasting on presentations. So that's gonna be what I'll focus on today. And you
Mhm.
start to tick off like these automations bit by bit until before you know it, you have at least one tool for every like large repetitive task. And then you're feeling confident to move into the automations of like blending those things together.
Mm.
Yeah. So, like, do you have maybe like a couple of tasks that you take a lot of your time, and maybe I can suggest a few things for you?
I think for me right now, my pet peeve is I use Notion for everything. I love Notion, but I've now realized I've made Notion cumbersome because I've built it in such a way that it's become quite clunky. Um, so I suppose that's not really a process as such. I think that's me just trying to learn Notion a bit better. Okay, I'll tell you, I've got one, right. So obviously this is a new podcast. And I'll speak to people on the phone if they want to come on, and then I'll send them the email with the jot form and then the Notion calendar to book in, and then I go in and set it up and give them the link. And then I'll email them to say it's coming up. So I know that I've made that process really manual, but I don't know how to
Oh,
automate it. So I can't figure it out.
yeah, yeah. This one's so I had a client who wanted to automate their podcasting system. So pretty much you can set Riverside, I'm telling you, is like the easiest because
Yeah.
of course the sound stuff, but then also you can set up like regular tasks in there. So you can set up a reminder message, you can set up a calendar link, you can set up
Yeah.
all this stuff in there. And then they have an automated system where you just like type in, I don't know, notes or something, and you type in want what you want to say to that person, and then they can even like send the reminder message, they can send the meeting link, they can send all of this stuff. So they're big into mixing AI with podcasting,
Hmm.
and they're big into automating things. And because they have a lot of capabilities within one tool, you don't have to go like from tool to tool and try all these different things out. You can just like go straight in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the best one. And then there's like what I love doing after like recording an interview like this is the long video, you upload it into something called Opus Clip, and it
Hmm.
creates like 10, 30 of those like short little clips with the subtitles, and then it creates your caption, and you can upload those and schedule those on social media.
Yeah.
So you kind of find a platform that has the automations built in. So you're like,
Hmm.
okay, I want to send a reminder message, I want to send this invite, I want to send like a meeting link, and it has all those automations booked in, and you can just sort of like put in the person's email and write notes to them, and that's done. And then on the other side, it's like once you have the recording, you can like chop it up really easily.
Amazing. Amazing. Thanks, Mia. Um, I'll ask for me, but also people listening because that's just, that little snippet was really valuable. Do you run like workshops or things like that where you kind of, because I know your business is Automate Social, but do you do workshops where you talk about, AI more general and how it can help your business? Because I think that would be proper. I'm just selfishly asking for me.
Yeah, I was running monthly mini conferences in Melbourne,
Mm,
and then now I'm like speaking at different business events. So
yeah.
I find it's people are still really, even though everyone's got like AI mania right now,
Mm,
very few there's not a lot of AI education in the way that's still like updating to the level of what's happening in the AI world. So
hmm.
there'll be people that are like, how to save time with AI, and you can do this and you can do that. but they kind of skip out the fundamentals of like, okay, like here's the way your business is operating. How do we
Yeah.
set up something that has longevity? How do we not just like dump a few AI tools on you and move over? It's like, how does that work as part of your business?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm speaking at an event next Friday, I think. I can send you the details where I'll be like running through how to buy yourself from social media using AI.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then that's going to be taking out, like, you basically pluck out all of the biggest and most annoying tasks,
Mhm.
create like a tool and an automation around each of those things. And then by the end of it, people will be able to like have a bit of a simple system that if they plugged it into their business, they would be able to, reduce like a huge amount of social media bandwidth.
Awesome. I think we all want that. So anyone listening that wants to save time on social media, you follow Mia, and you can check out that next event. I think I'm going to that one anyway. We got sidetracked on our quick fire questions, but that's okay because I enjoyed that AI workshop. Who was the last person that you messaged, and what did you say?
Oh, this is really cool. I like these questions. I messaged my friend Dan, who works at another marketing agency, and he sent me a photo that he found online of like someone wrote a bio. I don't know, someone wrote a bio about me, and I was like, "Lol, visionary." That's like cringe. And it's so funny when by the way, like keynote speakers and people presenting on stage, there's like people like, oh, visionary, powerhouse, all these things. And I think it's like really nice, but it's not real life because yes, they have found like a certain way to like educate people and they found a certain like helpful thing. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think everybody has that knowledge within them. It's just keynote speakers are a little bit more like wanting to share and wanting to present. So then people are like visionary. I'm like, yeah, not
It,
particularly.
And it's also those words like my pet peeve is like buzzwords. It's also like it becomes words that don't really mean much. Like well, you know me, I'm all about the kind of the real, and it's like just speak how you would normally speak. Like would I normally say that Mia is a powerhouse? Maybe not in my language. So it's just like use the language that you would use to your friend, I think, and it.
Yeah, I grapple with this because I think yes, each social media platform has their own language, and
Mhm.
part of me is like, oh, why, like, speak normal and everybody should. But then again, like maybe that is the normal of corporate, or maybe that's the normal of like other platforms. Yeah, I just find it like it's kind of like cute and funny. Yeah, because it's not true. Like,
Oh, I don't know. I would say you are a bit of a powerhouse, Mia.
yeah, I've got a lot of energy, but yeah.
All right, great. So I'd love to like just hear a little bit about, the week before. So could you tell me a little bit of, what was a high moment for you last week and what happened?
So this year has been so cool because I started to get into things that I just didn't expect. I started racing yachts, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just been a really amazing teamwork in action and learning how to do something that's out on the water, and that's been an amazing thing. And then um, I think the business like hit a new milestone that I hit in a way. Like sometimes when I'm like pushing really hard for something or I'm like, oh, like stressed about it, it seems to go the opposite. So
Mm-hmm.
I've just been like, like systematically working towards certain things. So it's been really cool having new clients start and like people entrusting their social media to us has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, while I was managing the business is at a point where the team is like, they're good and competent, so they can
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of the like actual ads management retainer work. So I'm still working towards getting all of the accounts up to a point where I can like, oversee the strategy and then have everyone like working in a way that they're really like, I look at the work, I'm like, yeah, good. That's a really, yeah, send it off to the press type thing. So yeah, so last week was a lot of that. It's a lot of yeah, getting the business to a point of of a good standard, and then yeah, last week was learning comedy every night. So we'd run the business in the day, and then go and every night I would be learning how to like create a comedy set and learn how to
Mm,
tell jokes, and it was like you'd have homework, so yeah, I would like be learning with everyone in the course, and then afterwards be going home and trying to learn how to write jokes. And this
mm,
all came about because I wanted the keynotes to be a bit more fun and exciting.
yeah.
And then now we're going to open mics, and it's just yeah,
Cool, cool.
I love how things just like places just take you new areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a week.
Was there a particular moment that stood out for you in terms of a high? Like one moment?
Oh yeah, definitely performing the first
Yeah.
comedy set. That was absolutely amazing. And then yeah, another high was realizing that this is the furthest I'd ever gotten in my business was this week. And yeah, that's like kind of this weird feeling of like, okay, like the progress. Because with um the agency model, like, you know, things go up and down, and
Hmm.
it's never really stable. So sometimes you can be like making progress, and then you go back a little bit, making
Hmm.
progress, go back a little bit. So yeah, it was really cool to um yeah, to realize that this is the furthest I've gone, and then also this is the most competent the team has been to manage the execution of the work as well. So yeah, it feels like things are happening,
Fantastic.
you know?
That's amazing. You must feel fantastic like, when you realize that all that hard work and is kind of paying off, and because it is hard, like it is like a roller coaster, isn't it?
You never feel complete though. This is like the cruel thing of business, and the most amazing part of it as well is
Mm,
yeah, I do celebrate wins, and I try to be like yeah, someone who's got in my own corner type of thing. But um yeah, there's so much left to do that
mm,
I'm like, okay, great, like that's good that it's progressing in the right direction, but there's so much I need to execute on still that yeah, it's like, all right, well, celebrate for like 5 seconds, and then let's move on to the next thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's good to celebrate those wins. I'm the same. It's just like, okay, what's next? But
Yeah.
yeah, to be able to take that step back and look back at how far you've come, it kind of puts it into perspective, and yeah, makes life a little bit easier. Um, well, before we recorded, Mia, I spoke with someone who's been in your corner for a while. He's your business mentor and thinking partner, which I thought was pretty cool terminology he used. Andy Rook. And you two first met at a family dinner when a maitre d' literally invited him to sit down with you and your family, and you've been working together ever since, which I thought was a lovely story. And I just wanted to read out something that what he told me about you. He said, Mia is dynamic, excitable, creative, and high energy. She brings this infectious optimism that lights up everyone around her. The serious side of what I do is to help her shape that energy and channel it towards a clear, focused structure. Can you tell me a bit more about how Andy brings structure to your life and why it's needed?
Yeah, that's so nice. So, I have like two sides. So one of them is like just go for it, try out things, like jump from thing to thing. It's almost like yeah, like a hamster or guinea pig energy when I'm running around everywhere. But then I also have this other side where like I want to build something meaningful. I want to contribute to the world. I want to have a stable and strong business. And sometimes the other side, because it's like very excitable and almost like tantalizing, I'll sometimes like lean towards that side a bit more and want to jump from area to area.
Mm,
Um, meeting Andy coincided with this shift in my business where I wanted to create something that was, very tangible, solid, strong, and sort of not leave behind the excitable stage, but channel it into something
Yeah.
meaningful. So he's basically helped me realign my vision. He's helped me move into more of like a um, fun but serious business mode.
Mm.
He's helped me understand like what roles I need in the team, and then from there, what like revenue I want to get to by the end of the year, and
Mm.
how that's all plays out. And even just like a huge part of that at the start of the year, her saying like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm running this workshop and I'm doing this and I'm trying this. And he was like, where does your business make money? I was like, oh, on ads,
Yeah.
running ads. And he was like, all the other stuff is fun hobbies. Like, let them go. And then so he helped configure my business in a way where we have like ads retainers.
Mm-hmm.
We run those through this AI program, and we use a lot
Mm-hmm.
of AI to like help support the ads. And then from there, he was like, okay, obviously, like you still need to do something you're passionate about. So then I started to hone in on the speaking and that path as well. So that they both work as complementary forces. Every time I speak, like something great will happen from it that
Yeah.
benefits my business. And every time my business is operating smoothly, it means that I can like go after speaking a bit more. So they're both like walking hand in hand. Whereas before it was this kind of like a exciting mess. Like and also across so many different countries as well. So I feel like running running my business from an airport or from India or all these places, which was so fun, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I was still growing up, I
Yeah.
started my business really young, and I was growing up as I was growing the business. But yeah, this year I turned 30 and something just happened. I just was like, let's still enjoy life, but
Yeah.
let's make this a really tangible and strong thing. And since choosing one core service and having like one complimentary service,
Mm-hmm.
everything's easy now. Like my life is so much easier. I don't have all this chaos. I'm not saying yes to everything. I've got I've got the right people to do the right things. I've got simple systems. I've got the simple tools to support it. And I'm a lot clearer with what I offer. It's like, yeah, we run ads and we do that through this AI program, and this is how we can do it. Whereas before it was like, and I'm doing this and this. Yeah.
It's all about simplicity, isn't it? And I think I'm laughing because I relate, because I think when you're a passionate person, you want to do all these different things, you can go off in lots of different directions. It sounds like I need an Andy in my life. I guess my husband is my Andy and tries to keep me grounded. He's like, yeah, but remember what it is you're focusing on,
You
because
should chat with him. Yeah, he's the best. But yeah, you need someone like that.
Mm,
You can't do like business is not something you do alone. You need
yeah.
partners, you need clients, you need friends, you need colleagues, you need all these different people to make a business operate. And I don't like people telling me what to do, but I
Mm,
love when people I respect give me really good advice. So
mm,
it's something like if this rebellious trait in me where it's like if someone's like, you have to sit down and do work, I'll just want to reject that. But if someone's like, look, like this is
mm,
what you can do and this is what's gonna happen because of it in that conceptual way, yeah. It's so
yeah.
funny. It's like we're all just kids in human bodies, basically, in very like adult lives.
um I'll wrap we'll wrap up very shortly, but I just one other thing that Andy said, he said that I should also ask you about the time that your car got stolen in Richmond.
Uh, he always throws me under the bus. Yeah, and so I am honestly like my mind is like working 100 miles an hour all the time. And so like you'd think if your brain is like completely full with good things and bad things, it's just always full.
Yeah.
Like things like directions, things like knowing where I put something is very low on my priority list. I'm like, what about ideas? What about all this other stuff? So anyway, so I was like coming back from a business networking event. It was really fun. I was just like that was awesome. Met such great people. And I was like, went back to this street called Wellington Street. And I was like, my car is gone. It's completely gone. So then I called the police and they're like, oh, okay, like, yeah, we'll put a report in. Like, that's terrible.
Mhm.
Anyway, 2 weeks later, the police called me up again and I was devastated. It was like I loved my convertible. I was living my best life. And they called me up like, we found it. And I went back to the place and I'm like, gosh, this looks familiar. And I realized I'd parked it on like this street next to it, also called Wellington. And I was like, that's so embarrassing. And the police was so nice. I was like, I'm so sorry for wasting your valuable resources. They're like, you know what? Like, it's okay. Yeah, we're just happy you got a good news story. So, yeah, so like calling the police on myself is yeah, it's not ideal.
I was laughing because so he didn't tell me. He didn't tell me. He just said ask about it. But I should tell the story. I was like, I think where this is going, and I reckon a lot of people listening could relate because I don't know. I've lost count of the amount of times I've parked my car and then forgot where I parked. I haven't gone to the extreme of phoning the police, but I can see how that could happen.
Honestly, like I just went from 0 to 100 with that one. I was like, police. And now, okay, for all the people that lose their car, like I have a hack. So
Oh, brilliant!
yeah,
Please
you
tell me.
basically like on Amazon, you get something called a tile. They're like 20
Mhm.
bucks. You chuck it in your car, and then on the Find My iPhone app, you can track where your car is now. So now I never lose my car. I can like it's like tracked, and I can just like walk to the street and walk and find it. Because yeah, even the other day I was like thought I'd lost it again. I was like, no, look at the app. Look at it. But
So a
apparently
tracker for your car.
I think there's like 70,000 cars missing in Melbourne at the moment. So it's like,
Really?
yeah, it happens. It just didn't happen to me.
It's
I was
common. It's
remembering.
common. All right, I've got one last one for you, and this one is a closing gift for all the listeners. So if there's one insight, truth, or reminder from your week from your past week that you think someone else needs to hear, what would it be?
You just have to like create your own little boundary of like yourself, and you need to like so put yourself in this little like nice little glass box and just keep building up your boundary. And within that space, you treat yourself well, you give yourself positive self talk, you like drink water, you exercise, you every time like someone tries to like a lot of the time people's emotions or their dramas or their things will like try to integrate into that but you just have to like allow it to like bounce off you as much as possible
Mm,
because there's so many instances in my life like I'll be managing like rental properties or I'll be managing stuff or I'll be managing like even like personal relationships and so much of the time it integrates in it's when I don't have the right boundaries or I'm not like caring for myself enough and then it will come into my space and corrupt my whole day. So
mm,
yeah, it's something like yourself, like your people pleaser or empath, whatever you want to call it. It's not healthy. It's
mm,
like it's not good to like as soon as you catch yourself overthinking about another person's drama, that's when you know you just gotta like build the boundary again, get back in the little
mm.
thing and just yeah. I if I ever got a tattoo, it would be like a picture of a duck with water coming off the duck's back.
I love that.
Because
I love it.
like if you can realize water off a duck's back, you create this like really strong self-worth within,
Mm, mm,
then everything's going to be okay. Because as
mm,
soon as you let someone get into that boundary in that personal space, then they start to like have you take on their own problems, which you can't do. Like it's actually the main corruptive thing of someone trying to build a business is like
Mm.
allowing everybody in to like screw you up. Yeah, you need to have a layer of bubble wrap around you.
I love that. I love that. I'm like kind of seeing a bubble, a protective bubble around you. Because
Yeah.
it does, it really drains your energy. I'm reading the book by Mel Robbins, The Let Them Theory. It's very similar because if you try and control everyone around you or let them affect you, then you leave nothing for yourself. So I think that's a really beautiful message for people listen, just to have that nice little bubble around you and just protect your space.
Yeah, and in your bubble, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can do stand-up comedy, you can start a business. You like because it's your thing. It's like
Mhm.
you like, and it comes from like your own heart. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Well, that was a lovely, lovely message to end on. Mia, thank you so much for joining me. I've loved this session and I got my own little AI workshop. So, where can if people want to hit you up and find out more, where can they reach you?
Yeah, so I actually love LinkedIn, so you can just find me Bowyer on LinkedIn or automatesocial.com.au online. But yeah, I just want to educate people about AI. I'm just finding it really fun and interesting. So anytime someone needs any AI education, just let me know. I'd love to come into teams or into conferences, and yeah, it's just a fun world. So, and there's lots of wild stories to keep it entertaining as well.
Love it. Thank you, Mia.